My brother pretended to get clean, robbed me of thousands, and left me living in fear. So I kicked him out, cut him off, and made him beg for help in the most brutal way possible. My childhood was perfect, except for the PTSD it caused. And it was all from my older brother, Justin. He was 10 years older than me, so at first he was my role model. I tried to dress like him, get a haircut just like his, and even copy his vocabulary. But when I turned 14, my eyes began to open. I could hear him leaving the house at 10 p.m. every night, returning at 8 a.m., and sleeping all day. I knew he didn't have a job, so this made me insatiably curious. So one night, I snuck into his room. Immediately, my nostrils were met with the pungent smell of the devil's lettuce. I looked around and saw a bong that was placed beside lines of blow, just sitting right there on his wooden desk. My stomach twisted. As I lay awake that night, pieces of the puzzle were starting to come together. Why my bike had mysteriously disappeared. Why he never wanted to spend time with me. His emotional outbursts. For the next few years, Justin only got worse. I spent countless years wishing my parents would do something. Kick him out, get a restraining order, hit him back, anything. But no. Instead, they just let him do whatever he wanted. When he again stole my stuff and sold it online, it went unspoken. When he shouted at the top of his lungs for 2 hours at 3 a.m. until my parents finally handed him some cash, it went unspoken. So when I finished high school, moving out was a no-brainer. I never even bothered coming home for the holidays, and talking to my parents was too frustrating, so I didn't do that either. Instead, I sent 40% of every paycheck to them as a thank you for how they raised me. And as soon as I finished college, I became a paralegal at an amazing firm with a starting salary of $50,000 a year. So after a few years, I got my own apartment and a pretty decent car. It was around this time that I decided it was time to fully reconnect with my parents. My mom was the first one I called. "Honey, how are you doing?" Her voice instantly flooded me with a softness I didn't know I was still capable of. And when I asked if I could visit over the weekend, I swear I could hear her practically jumping up and down with excitement. Fast forward to that Friday. I had arrived at their front door, my arms filled with gifts for everyone, including Justin. But as soon as the door opened, the gifts were almost destroyed. Because my parents lunged at me for a hug so hard, I struggled to hold on to everything. As I went inside, I immediately noticed a thick cloud of smoke that filled the entire living room. I looked over to my parents, expecting them to be just as disgusted as me, but they just continued their conversation, as if it was the most normal thing in the world. On the surface level, they seemed pretty happy too, but as I looked into their eyes, I saw a deep sadness. It had only been a few years since I saw them, but they looked like they had aged by almost 2 decades. That's when Justin popped out of his room to bestow us with his presence. "Yo," he said to me, nodding his head. As I looked at him, the first thing I noticed were his nostrils. They were almost closed up, and his nose bridge had practically flattened. I didn't feel bad for him though. We had the same upbringing, the same loving parents, the same classy neighborhood. He literally had no excuse as to why he was dragging my parents down. And since it was 9 p.m., Justin left to meet up with some buddies. "You have to take him in," my dad said. "Honey, I know we don't speak much, but we haven't had a day off from babysitting your brother in so long. I need you, please." Their voices were shaky, desperate. They promised it was just for a few days, so I agreed. As soon as I said yes, my mom literally blew a sigh of relief. My dad's face lit up. "Thank you, son. Thank you." When Justin came